Let me formally welcome you all to our webinar on Advancing Infrastructure Development, Role of BIM in Design, Construction, and O&M. Thanks again for joining us. This event has been organized by Indian Infrastructure in association with Autodesk. As you all can see, very grateful for all our speakers, for being here with us today. My name is Akanksha Mahajan. I am Director Research with Indian Infrastructure, and I'm joined by my colleague Naina Gulati here, who is Associate Director and also looks after the transportation sectors. I will just take, probably 40 seconds to quickly read out the mission with which we've organized this discussion today. And then I'll, of course, introduce you to the format that we will follow, for the next 1.5 hours. As I said, the objective of this webinar is to discuss the evolving role of BIM in development of infrastructure projects, particularly in roads, highways, and railway sectors, highlight the benefits of the technology in design, construction, and asset management, identify challenges in its implementation, and solutions that exist to address these challenges. As you can see, I'm very happy to announce that we have an eminent set of panelists who've joined us today. Mr. Vinod Yadav from NCC, Mr. Sabyasachi Naik from Larsen & Toubro, Mr. Satish S. from Nippon Koi India Private Limited, Mr. Arun Sahai from Ahluwalia Contracts India Limited, Mr. Pavan Kumar Ralabandi from TCE, Mr. Kamath from Autodesk, and also Ms. Nandita from Autodesk. Well, the structure is going to be such that I'm going to request Ms. Nandita. She has a very brief presentation for all of us, basically to set the context for discussions moving forward. I think we're looking at about 12 to 15 minutes of presentation from her, and thereafter we're going to deep dive into panel. I will formally introduce all our panelists before we start the panel and read out their bios at that time. But Ms. Nandita, over to you. And before I request you to start sharing your screen, I'm just going to introduce you to our audience here. Ms. Nandita KK is Solution Engineer with Autodesk. She comes with an expertise in land development and transportation projects and helps organizations reimagine how they plan, design, and deliver infrastructure by bringing traditional workflows with modern digital solutions. Ms. Nandita is a civil engineer by training. Very happy to have you here, and if I may request you to start sharing your screen.
Thank you so much. Can you confirm if you can see my screen?
And if I may request you to speak a little closer to the mic, because then I think the audio is going to be more clear. Yeah.
My screen is visible. Can you confirm?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. So welcome all, and thank you, Kanta, for a brief introduction about myself. We'll quickly take you through, as you mentioned, this will be a very crisp knowledge session on what we have got with Autodesk as in the infrastructure space, from design to construction to operations and maintenance. It will be a quick introduction on what are the technologies that we have. So in the next 15 to 20 minutes, what you're going to see is So we aim the session to make you understand or see the Autodesk solutions that we have got from starting from planning, design to constructions to operation. We'll touch base upon what are the specific infrastructure solutions that we have got, what is the infrastructure workflow that we have got with respect to the solutions. Also, in this short span of time, we'll touch base upon the sustainability solution in with reference to the infrastructure field that we have got. And right now, the buzzing word in the industry is AI. So let's see what Autodesk is doing in the AI space. This will be a crisp one. Starting before going into the detailed technicalities of it, to just give an overview, Autodesk has started its journey 40 years ago and introduced AutoCAD around in 1982, making the first CAD system developed for PCs. All of us are aware. Ever since we have been evolving and innovating, and our basic vision is to imagine, reimagine, create and design and make things that will help you to make a better world. So on screen you can see some of the statistics that we have got. Moving on, when you're thinking about Autodesk, I would like to focus on the fact that we are not only catering to the engineering sector, we cater to AEC, which is our architecture, engineering, constructions, We have portfolios or capabilities in the design and manufacturing field. We have capabilities in the media and entertainment field as well. So the portfolio that we have is holistic, not only just catering to one sector of industry. So within AECO, which we call it as architecture, engineering, construction, and operations, we target building sector, we target the transportation sector, we have portfolios in water as well as industry segments. As you might be aware, our customers are very diverse. They are spread across different industries and phases of projects. Maybe some customers will be from the planning and design stage, maybe some will be catering to exclusively in the construction phase, and some might be in the operation phase. And the solutions cater to all category of engineers, architects, contractors, and operators. Moving on, so we started our journey and we would like to define it through three digital transformations. First is when we transferred from the hard paper to a CAD-based system, that is during 1980s. And next, after 20 years around in 2000, we have adopted BIM. We have went from a 2D based modeling to a 3D based parametric modeling. And currently, at this in the past 6 to 7 years, we have brought in innovations in our connected project data environment, which we call it as cloud. And we all know or all are already aware about the benefit of this, as we have gone through a pandemic stage, and we understand how efficient it is to be for us to sit in different places, come together, work together, and deliver complex projects like infrastructure. So, speaking of all of these capabilities and what we can offer, what are we or where are we in the evolution of BIM with respect to India? As we see in the 2000s, we have seen a positive change in our sector. Adopting BIM around 2018 to 2014, we have seen Mumbai International Airport projects taking up BIM as a major initiative. They have shifted focus from a 2D environment to a BIM focused environment. And around 2010s, we have seen a rising awareness among different organizations as well as institutions to adopt BIM. And by 2015, we can definitely say that BIM is not just something that some organizations are looking at. There were many organizations as well as governments that have mandated BIM during the course of their project. And in 2020s, here we are talking about the connected BIM 4D, 5D capabilities of what we can do in the infrastructure space. Speaking of all these benefits and evolutions that we have done over the past, we have seen some challenges as well in infrastructure industry, mainly with respect to time, cost, as well as the execution time. Though the adoption has been very positive over the period of time, we have seen that the adoption has become a bit of fragmented, or there is some sector which is adopting BIM, but there are some sectors which are not very positive about it. For the whole system to get the benefit of the process, we all have to come on board and work in such a way that how this data flows from a design authorizing tool to a construction site through our cloud platform and all of this. So that flow has to be well defined, due to which there are so many challenges that we face in the industry, which we all are aware about. However, on a positive note, we see adoption more than 30% in the construction firms with exclusively who are leveraging the digital tools. So speaking about the AEC collections that we have got for infrastructure, we broadly divide our technology into three categories. First, the tools and design authorizing tools that are catering to your specific design tools. You might be already using some of them depending upon the sector that you're working, like Civil 3D, Naviswork, Rivet, and so on. And then we have a strong portfolio in the water. We believe that the water and infrastructure goes hand in hand. So we have brought in an Autodesk capability for in the water portfolio side. Also, finally, we have the Autodesk Constructions Cloud, which will help you to connect all these collaboratively in one environment, that is the cloud environment. Speaking about infrastructure today, as we have eminent panelists who are experts in infrastructure, what is the first and foremost step that we do in a workflow when we're thinking about infrastructure? The first and foremost thing is the concept stage design. So what possibilities or capabilities do we have in this domain? So creating a site, the starting of the project is to get some data for the site so that you can start working on it. So creating a site becomes very easy with our tool called InfraWorks, where it is very fast and intuitive, as well as you will be able to select a particular area create a visual conceptual data of that area, which consists of the existing roads, buildings, all the contour levels of that particular terrain. And it helps you to start the project even when you do not have any data with you. And also at this point, you can work on at the concept level stage to understand, like, which will be the optimal routing that can be done for the particular selected area or the particular development that you are doing. So at this very first point, you have a solution that will help you to start the project. And this tool is connected with the detailed authorizing tool as well as with the GIS platform, which is the GIS platform. So you have the access to such data as well as interoperability with the detailed design space when you're thinking about the future workflow. Moving on, the next foremost thing that we see as a challenge in the industry is to how to extract the data, existing terrain data that we have. And there are cases where you are developing something. There are cases when you're refurbishing something. So this becomes very important when you have such a technology which will help you to directly export the drone survey images that we have. And without even much of manual intervention, you can basically extract that existing data into 3D meshes and even categorize the elements that are available in it so that you make use of the data that are just relevant to your project or the project scope. So we have been using this. There is this tool called Recap, which will help you to do this process. And again, all of this are well integrated with our detailed design softwares, and it will give you access to that data throughout your planning, detail, and construction phases. So this is what we can do it in the existing terrain and how to get that data. Then now let's assume that we have this data that will help you to create a ground surface. So the first and foremost thing is that you have a ground surface in the infrastructure terrain with which you can develop whatever the project scope that you want to be it buildings, roads, or anything. The next step that you will be looking at will be a grading possibility that is basically to level your surface. And here our solutions offer a semi-automated process where you as a user can give certain constraints. You don't have to start from scratch, creating the grading surface, assigning certain elevations to the features, and then doing it manually. You have the option to select the area where you want to probably level it, give certain constraints to the tools like, my drainage has to flow to a particular site, my drainage slope should be between 5 and 10, and this is the objective of my project is to balance the cut and fill. With such minimum constraint, the software has the capability to do multiple iterations and give you a result or a graded or a proposed surface, which you can use it later on for fine tuning as per engineering judgment and take it up for the next step. So this is what we can offer in this space. Moving on, as you might be already aware, definitely I'm sure that about the flow that we have in RAID. So once we have this data, let's assume that it is from an existing terrain data through a recap model, or let's assume that we have an existing data from the infra work. You can directly import this data without much manual intervention to the detailed design software tool that we have for infrastructure space, which is Civil 3D. Draw the alignment with reference to the surface that you have got, profile with reference to the design standards that we have got within the tool. And all of this is very well regionalized. When I say regionalized, we have organizations, I could definitely say there are some panelist members from the organization who are giving us really good inputs on the India countryfication. So basically, we take customer inputs to fine-tune templates that are relevant to Indian standards. And design codes are embedded in the software with which the user can do a sort of a design check while doing this and produce alignments, profiles, corridors, and ultimately produce these drawings which are relevant and which can be showcased with different stakeholders. So once we have completed this work, and on this point, the rail and road workflow, we follow it in Civil 3D. It is similar, however, design standards may vary depending upon the design, that whether you're doing a road design or a rail design. When talking about automation, this is something where everybody is interested, and specifically something which will give you and your team a high level of productivity, because there are definitely certain tasks that you can automate it. Because you do it manually over the past few years, it doesn't mean that it has to be done manually. Here, what you can see is an example where a table slope check, when you place a solar panel, is being done automatically using our Dynamo scripts. This can be done within any of our infrastructure tools like Civil 3D, Rivet. It has got its own Dynamo scripts. Also, we as a team will have has been working on these scripts over the past few years, So we develop these sample scripts which will help the organizations to automate certain tasks which otherwise have to be done manually.
Miss
Speaking
Nandita,
of
we have
solar,
about 3 more minutes to.
yes,
Oh.
thank you. Speaking about solar industry and renewable source of energy, I was very excited to see the statistics from BP's Global Energy Outlook that in coming years that we will have an energy demand almost double the size of what we have now by 2050, as well as will be forced to use 83% of the renewable energy, or we may have to sort out some solutions from the renewable energy side so that we can produce and the demand and supply can be catered. So do we have any solutions there? And these are something our customers are actively asking these days. That is the solution, Autodesk solutions for the renewable energy, that is solar energy, wind energy, and so on. So in the initial stages, we have solutions that will help you to sort of conceptualize your solar modules or conceptualize the wind turbines that you can place on the ground. Again, like you can do the turbine pad. We have a solution where you can make use of maximum space and place the solar panels. So such capabilities are there, which is well integrated with a combination of our cloud platform, Civil 3D, a bit of automation, and the Rivet tool. All of this works well when it comes to collaboration. All of it will work well if it goes with respect to collaboration. So in the traditional form, we have seen that there are definitely multiple stakeholders involved, and the flow of data is generally in the form of emails, WhatsApp, and so on. So or maybe it's mostly fragmented. So that is where our solution comes in, which is our common data environment, which connects all of these design tools within a cloud platform, which will help you to streamline your data. So now we are sure that we have data. Only thing now we need a method to streamline data, sort of categorize data. This is what common data environment can do. Again, there are so many other capabilities that we have within ACC. ACC is an umbrella term. There are other modules which are specifically catering to certain objectives. Moving on, due to shortage of time, what we are doing it in AI space. So in the AI space, the journey of Autodesk is not new. We have started our journey past in 2009 with our first publication, moving on in 2018 with our AI lab setup that we have. And around in 2022, we have published a data set along with MIT. And in the last year, we have done a pilot project to create a AI model, which we call it as Project Burn. So basically, over the past few years, we have published almost 90 plus AI research papers. So there is a good amount of work that's going behind to publish these set of capabilities within our tool, which are specifically catering to AI. Again, these are capabilities that we inbuilt between the tools. Closing, I won't take much more than 1 minute. So again, so there might be some thought in the mind that AI might replace my work. Again, our philosophy of our thought on this aspect is not AI might take away some kinds of job, but AI has a full potential to give you more space, more capacity when the machines can do a more mundane job where you can focus on the creative aspect of it. So again, Autodesk is in a mission to mandate the power of AI within our tools. We are bringing it on within our tools one by one in partial capabilities, and the research is ongoing and the development keeps on going. So saying this, I'm sorry about a 1 minute extra time, but yeah, that's all we have got from Autodesk on like a very brief overview of what we have got. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Nandita, and thanks a lot for keeping the time in mind. But I must tell you that it was an impactful presentation because we already have 4 questions. However, I'm going to hold on to them. I will first introduce the panel, start the round, first round of discussion, and when we come to Q&A, we'll have those questions addressed by you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, well, I'll just take, a couple of minutes in introducing our eminent set of panelists who've joined us today for this webinar. If I may request Ms. Nandita to stop sharing her screen, and
Yes.
if the host can put it in that format, right? Well, I'll start with Mr. Vinod Kumar Yadav first. Mr. Yadav is Director Transport at NCC. He comes with more than 38 years of experience in the rail transport, infrastructure, manufacturing, and SME sectors, including more than 20 years in the management of large infrastructure projects funded by World Bank, JICA, and ADB. He is the former chairman and CEO of the Railway Board India, and prior to that has also served as chairman of Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited and NHSRCL. Mr. Yadav, thank you very much for taking out time and joining us here today. Very happy to have you here on the panel. Uh, we also have here with us Mr. Arun Sahai. He is Chief Operating Officer at Ahluwalia Contracts India Limited. Mr. Sahai brings about 37 years of extensive experience in the construction industry, where he's been involved in managing several large-scale civil construction projects. In addition to his technical and project management acumen, he also heads the business development, procurement, real estate, and infrastructure departments at ACIL. He's also the MD of Progressive Constructions Private Limited, which is a construction firm registered as Class 1 contractor with CPWD and several other government, semi-government, and PSUs. Welcome, Mr. Sahai. Very happy to have you on board. We also have here with us Mr. Sabyasachi Nayak. He is Vice President and Head Engineering Design and Research Center for the RBF Strategic Business Group at Larsen & Toubro Limited. Mr. Nayak has over 3 decades of experience in design and engineering across the full spectrum of civil engineering and infrastructure projects. From high-rise buildings and metros to airports, nuclear power plants and highways, he has played a pivotal role in several of nation's flagship developments. Also, Mr. Nayak is amongst the key contributors during the early years of BIM implementation in India, and then maybe I'll ask him, whether the market has evolved to his liking or not. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Nayak. We also have here with us Mr. Satish Lal Juneja. He is Associate Director and SBU Head for Railways and Metro at Nippon Koi India. Mr. Suneja has over 3 decades of experience in the construction industry with a specialized focus on underground metro projects. His expertise spans project management, planning and project controls, as well as contract and commercial management. Welcome, Mr. Suneja. Very happy to have you here with us. We also have here with us Mr. Pavan Kumar Ralabandi. Mr. Pavan Kumar is Head of Digital and Advanced Technology Business Unit at TCE. He brings deep expertise in digital transformation and infrastructure technologies and has played a pivotal role in advancing BIM adoption across large-scale transport and urban development projects. Moreover, he has an experience in integrating BIM with emerging technologies like IoT, AI, and geospatial analytics. And maybe, at some point I'll ask Mr. Kumar to probably delve a little on that. Welcome, Mr. Kumar. And finally, we have with us Mr. Niranjan Kamath, who is Tech Sales Manager AEC at Autodesk. Mr. Kamath has been playing a key role in driving BIM adoption across India's roads, highways, and railways.
I guess Akansha stuck. Maybe I can take over. I'll quickly introduce Mr. Kamath again for the audience. Mr. Kamath is Tech Sales Manager AEC at Autodesk. With deep expertise in infrastructure and digital transformation, he plays a pivotal role in driving BIM adoption across India's roads, highways, and railway sectors. He works closely with public and private stakeholders to unlock the full potential of BIM beyond 3D modeling, enabling smarter planning, faster execution, and long-term asset optimization. At Autodesk, he leads strategic engagements that integrate BIM with emerging technologies and like IoT, AI, and generative design, helping infrastructure owners and developers future-proof their projects. Welcome, Mr. Kamal. Akansha, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so sorry for some glitch at my end. We are now ready to begin the discussion, and I think the first round is essentially going to be, around the experience of, various stakeholders with BIM deployment. I am going to move to Mr. Yadav first, and Mr. Yadav, if we can hear your remarks in terms of, what's your experience in terms of BIM implementation? Some specific projects if you would want to mention, or your overall perspective on how, BIM is being integrated in projects.
Thank you, Akansha. Good evening to everyone. A very nice presentation was done by Nandita. And as we all know that as far as adoption of BIM in the country is concerned, though it has been gradual, but over a period of time, it has really picked up. and the way the mega projects are being implemented, especially after 2015. Without BIM, I don't think that we'll be able to implement those mega projects. So BIM has become a necessity, what I do believe. Now, if you see historically, there has been problem in implementation of projects in India, especially I have handled many railway projects. Cost overrun, time overrun. They have been, absolutely for all the mega projects, if you'll see, there has been a lot of cost overrun and time overrun. And over a period of time now, the sustainability has also assumed the importance. So if you have to handle time overrun, cost overrun, and sustainability, you will have to employ BIM. Now, there are, various phases of a project, and according to me, the most important project is the project preparation. And in the country, we are lacking that. Whenever we are making detailed project reports, that detailed project reports are not up to the mark, and that creates problem later on. When we start implementing a project which has not been fully prepared, and when we start implementing, it creates a lot of problem, and time overrun and cost overrun comes. So therefore, it's absolutely necessary, what I believe, that right from the project planning stage, we should deploy BIM, and rather than concentrating only on modeling, we will have to go beyond that, and we will have to look for time, cost, and sustainability. So considering all these things, we need to plan the project in a proper way and use BIM. During the construction phase, there are so many aspects where BIM can be used. I mean, just for example, with my own experience, I'll say that once you deploy the BIM, even for the designs, if you see there, if you see the reports, at least up to 30% design errors are sorted out with BIM. Similarly, the cost overrun, if you are able to, manage the procurement, and you are able to manage flow of the work and all these things, it really benefits you the cost to mitigate cost overrun and time overrun. So therefore, what I do feel that right now deployment of BIM is becoming essential, and as far as government policy is concerned, government has taken some policy decision, like for the projects costing more than 100 crores, they have made it mandatory. But there are some few challenging issues we need to sort it out, and we will be discussing today. To my mind, what comes, basically the mindset. Mindset needs to be changed. The cultural thing needs to be changed, because what happens right now, the mindset is that if you follow BIM and everything is predefined, then you lose the flexibility at the ground and things like that. So mindset needs to be changed. Without that, nothing can happen. And second is skill upgradation. We will have to have people who can handle these things. And another important issue, of course, is cost. That you have to deploy hardware, software, and you have to deploy human resources. They may be costly, but if you see in a holistic manner, all these extra cost, it won't matter. The way you will be able to get advantage for maintaining time and time of completion and maintaining the cost of this thing. So according to me, now it is a necessity. And government is taking some policy decisions, and government will have to take some more policy decision regarding. One is I believe that we will have to go for some sort of standardization, interoperability, that and things like that. So according to me, now it has become necessity. Thank you so much.
Raghav, just a follow-up question here. Even from an NCC's perspective, if you could tell us that, what kind of BIM deployments have you done? And you, of course, spoke about how it's very important at the planning stage and then has its own merit at the construction stage. At this point in time, if you have to just give us a rough, and I'm going to ask Mr. Kamath also this question, but if you just have to give us a rough bifurcation as to where do you see the deployment more in India at this point in time? Is it happening more on the planning design stage, or you see it happening more on the construction stage?
My take is that now it's happening more at the construction stage. Planning stage still needs to be picked up. It has to be done, but planning stage needs to be picked up. But it is happening in construction stage. And a representative from L&T is here. He will be able to tell you this high-speed project. We made the provision in the contract itself, and this BIM has to be implemented in the high-speed projects. I'm not giving the details because L&T representative is there. He will be able to give. And as Nandita presented, it started with New Mumbai International Airport, Metro Nagpur, Pune. They have also implemented. And as far as NCC is concerned, as you may be aware, NCC is doing a lot of buildings. Recently, we have done here in Delhi, International Trade Center, then a lot of medical colleges, engineering colleges, stadiums, airport, Lucknow airport building was done by NCC. So all these projects, whether it is airport projects, medical college projects, all these projects, BIM is being implemented by NCC, and that is really giving a lot of benefit for mitigating cost overrun and time burn. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yadav. In fact, I'm going to come to Mr. Nayak now, just to get his perspective as well as L&T's perspective. One, of course, you've been somebody who has seen the earlier deployments. How do you think the market has evolved? And I'll again ask, do you think is it to your liking, or you think that, there are few key gaps that have to be addressed?
Yeah. Hey, good evening to all of my fellow panelists. Thank you, Autodesk and Indian infrastructure. First thing, as a fact check to Nandita, is that BIM was not implemented first in Mumbai International Airport. It was first implemented in Delhi International Airport, where I was there. The first time in India, it was used in Delhi International Airport in 2007. And looking at the success of that, it has been used in Mumbai International Airport. So when it was used that time, yes, of course, the skill was not there in the country. We have to have the skill from outside India, and they have to come and do the detailing. But strange enough, this particular project was developed by a private developer, not a government entity. So, and being a private developer, so they had a lot of focus on this thing to reduce the cost in terms of the class detections, because airport has got very complex MVP systems in the building. So for that, it has been used, and we all could see a very tremendous improvement in the construction flow, how it has happened. That is how it has further, gone into different projects, and we have been doing it in other many projects. If bringing the analytics perspective, if I see that we have got various verticals, so like we are focusing on the infrastructure that I'll be able to tell. When we see at a group level, as an organized level, that how the BIM implementation has gone into different verticals, you see buildings has gone, probably their maturity level will be probably BIM level 3. So that all the projects are into the BIM level 3, the complete system, including planning till maintenance, are in that particular, in CDE, and all these things, developments are quite advanced stage. Water effluent, yes, they are at a very advanced stage. In the highway sector, in the airport sector, and in the metro, those things, the implementation is not happening that in depth. The various reasons I'll just tell you is that in any project there are two stakeholders: the government entity and the contractor entity. I'm not talking about L&T, but any contractor like the NCC or SCC or Gammon. So unless they see a benefit out of it, a tangential benefit out of this project, they would not. It would be very difficult for them to make decision to have investment on this part. Okay. So how do you see this benefit is in terms of construction feasibility, construction ease, also how much it is giving us back. So some of the contractor might not come forward to implement these things, and then the government has to come out with a policy that every project has to have this thing. So, but the government, the problem is that the entity, when they put, Like NHI has got mandated more than 200 crore project, you have to do BIM. Similarly, CPW did not, many years back, they have put that more than 100 crore, they have to go for BIM. But the real problem is that they themselves don't know how to monitor this. The issue is that they say one page in the schedule saying that it has to be BIM 4D, 5D. It's very difficult even to explain them what is 4D, 5D. So it is there in the framework, but it is never being implemented. Yes, we have got a lot of skill issues. We have a lot of implementation issue also. But I'll say that certain sectors are doing extremely well. Taking cue of that, the other sector can also improve. BIM is not only about the visualization. BIM is about integrating the planning, integrating in the O&M. So those things are coming up. I mean, you are still could be at 30-40% level, but there is a big way to go on that line. So overall, I am very enthusiastic looking at the result it is giving in other sector. But infrastructure, we have to move forward. There's a lot of gap to fill now.
Right. And so, Mr. Naik, two follow-up questions. You've actually spoken about what we typically in industry parlance call as employers, the government agencies, which are looking at, which are the second collaborators on a particular project. I wanted to understand that, across various sectors, when you interact with them, what is the kind of push towards, adopting these technologies? Is it that the contractor goes to them and says that these are, the benefits and must be deployed, or do you see that the government is also very keen on, picking up these technologies? What is their stance, or even if there's a hesitance, why is it there, is what I want to understand.
So as long as at policy level, there is a good push as they have
Right.
understood and they have pushing it. But down the level, it is not trickling down. At the project level, if you go and talk to implement 4D or 5D, the
Right.
people at the ground would totally be unaware of what is happening. I mean, they have absolutely no idea what is a 4D or 5D. It says there in the contract, you just do it. Whether it is the client has to take those things forward and then implement it and then see the thing is happening. But there are a lot of exceptions are there. Like I'm saying, like Mr. Yadav was saying about the Pune Metro, Nagpur Metro. Their complete entire corridor is aligned is on beam. So their review happens on the beam. So like that, many airport projects, we see the design review or the progress reviews are happening in the beam. So it is not like that all of them are not in the track, but yes,
Right.
many of them are using beam to full extent and some few are yet to pick up. It's all skill issue.
Thank you, Mr. Nayak. I think Mr. Satish has dropped off. So sorry, Mr. Sahai, I think has dropped off. Mr. Satish, I'm sorry. I'm going to come to you. And Mr. Satish, pretty much the same question. How has been your experience, and what are your broad thoughts in terms of how industry is embracing BIM and what more needs to be done?
Okay. I must say that I have worked in two projects, one from the contractor side, mega projects, and one right now I am part of the PMC for Chennai Metro rail project. Okay, this is one of the biggest metro initiative at the moment, phase 2, because 116 kilometers project is going on where more than 70 contract packages are there. And Chennai Metro was innovative in a sense that they started with the concept that they will implement BIM in the beginning. And that was mandated. BIM plan was already part of the contract. There were very, very few things which are not in any other projects in India, because most of the time when you have large underground projects, you generally give design and build contracts. This was one project, somehow they went ahead with DDC designing and contractor coming as build only. So now there is one more interface which I've added as far as BIM is considered, because DDC has to give LOD 300 level drawings, then contractor has to take it and take it further to LOD 350, 400 and LOD 500. So the whole concept, as we say in BIM, is LOD 300 is, let's say, a good enough drawing for your planning and your resource mobilization. But Yes, to start with, was it perfect? Were we able to extract 2D drawings from the BIM models itself? Answer is absolutely no. Right? 2019, I have been involved since that project. By 2021, yes, DDC started giving BIM models where you can extract 2D drawings. By the time some of the packages already started doing this. So for mega projects, it's not small building projects. You have maybe you can say there are 108 stations, and 108 stations will have civil as well as MEP as well as system contracts. So various layers. So it is one of the challenging BIM implementation. So BIM 3D, we can say now quite realistically, yes, it's happening. If you talk about BIM 4D and 5D, we are only at the paper stage. I don't think whether Nagpur Metro or any other, they might say that they have implemented, but nobody has implemented BIM 4D, 5D. That's, I will be candid enough to say that even Primavera, which we started using 20 years, 25 years back, we are still not exploring full possibility of Primavera. Forget BIM for planning purposes, project control purposes. No, at the moment we are lacking quite. Our industry is lacking quite from this. This is a candid opinion, and it's not just I'm now talking because I was in Doha for 5 years for Gold Line Metro project there. There was almost like we were design and build contractor, and we were having L&T was one of our partners. We were having 100 people for BIM, but BIM 4D, 5D, forget. Again, I'm saying that was purely BIM 3D, clash detection, and building a as-built model, which happens. Monitoring time and cost with the BIM onto such complex project. Maybe future it will be, but right now it's my take is it's not happening. Whatever you say. Well, necessity, yes, it is. Does it help? Yes, it does help. At least because so many interfaces, so many working now, people working in many sort of different geographical locations, different contractors on the same model. Yes, it's working. Is there a receptiveness? Well, if you just talk about pure build only contractor will not like to, as a first priority will try to go into BIM LOD 350, LOD 400 implementation from his own side unless employer is going to force for it. So the advantage for employer is with all these hassles, because it's a costly affair. It's not going to be easy. It's a costly affair. The benefits are not, right now it's not coming on the day one. You will be knowing the benefit. But once you have as built LOD 500 model for its employer's operation maintenance for next 500 years, yes, he will understand the benefits. It is there. So that's what I would say in general. Yeah.
Mr. Satish, just a follow-up question. You of course said that 4D and 5D is not really being implemented on ground. I also wanted you to delve a little deeper in terms of what are the challenges. You said cost is one of the considerations. Technology carries a cost. Is skilling an issue where you think that the current set of engineers are not able to dabble with the new technologies that are there?
Killing inertia, as I said, are we implementing Primavera properly into all the projects? No, not yet. Even resource loaded program you don't get until unless you force for it. Logical linked programs are not still available. Monthly monitoring on Primavera, and how many projects are happening? Maybe 10%, 20% overall. So BIM 4D, what is its capability as far as program management is concerned? There is a huge gap between what maybe the makers are saying and what industry is understanding as of now. I doubt it's being implemented anywhere other than probably when you are in the planning stage, you show how the building would look like at various monthly stages of the project. But finally, monitoring of time or controlling the time through BIM is not happening as far as my knowledge is concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Satish. Well, my request to all the audience is that please keep on typing your questions while the discussions are on, so that, in the end we can take more questions. Let me go to Mr. Pavan Kumar now. And Mr. Kumar, my question to you is actually around the BIM integration that I read out in your bio as well, where how BIM is being integrated with other technologies. You can, of course, delve a little in terms of what is your, understanding of how the industry experience has been, but we are more keen on, understanding how BIM is now being integrated with all these new technologies. I mean, Nandita spoke about AI going mainstream. So how are you looking at that?
Yeah, so first of all, can't you call me Pavan? I'm very comfortable. Thank you for that. No, and thanks for IIC and with Autodesk to and share my thoughts on this particular forum. Um I meet Niranjan often as well, conferences and all that. So we do have a lot of discussions in terms of how we want to take this forward and take this and again, great hearing views from Sabyasachi and Satish. And I agree, it's taking time, 4D, 5D, as Satish said. We'll get there. I'm sure we'll get there. Once you have an L4, L5 kind of a schedule maintained in Primavera, and equivalent things on the model, as deep as we can get to try to get there. We'll get there, Satish. I'm sure we will. Another couple of years. But yes, integrating stuff, right? I think Nandita mentioned. What do we want to do with AI? How do you want to really help us, right? Do you want to get more generative? Do you want us to get more predictive? Do you want us to be prescriptive going forward? You require data, Akacha. You require data from projects. You require data from a lot of other sources to actually make that happen. We can't have this hallucinate, right? I mean, it needs proper data. It needs proper training data for you to, let's say, generate a particular design, right? As Nandita was mentioning, you want to generate a design, which means Autodesk needs to have so much data so that when it's trying to put the next wall, let's say if it's a simple MEP kind of a thing on a particular column, if it wants to generate a 50 column with or a 50-meter column with this particular height, with this much rebar, etc. You need data to do all that kind of stuff for you to be generative. Again, the models need to be trained a little bit more, which is what we are working on. We're trying to get a lot of data in. We're trying to get more generative. We're trying to see, I mean, whether it's just building something in Revit or, trying to take information back from, let's say, some other things and just trying to integrate and things. So it's going to take time. I think we've taken the steps in the right direction to make all these things possible. We'll have to work with our partners like Autodesk to make that product stronger so that when people start using these particular features that we are talking about, they add value. And it's not that they're not adding value. They need to start adding value. And it's not about reducing human activity there. It's just about enhancing that particular human activity, making them smarter as they start to build these, either models or schedules or whatever it is in the overall things, and starting putting things together. So that's how it needs to work. It'll take time, but I think it's getting.
Right. And Mr. Kumar, a very quick follow-up question. You've spoken about so many data points being available now, which need to kind of come together to bring some actionable insights. I really want to understand that in the last few years, do you think data has become more structured? I'm talking about, let's say, data storage.
I think data has become, so Akash, I think data has become structured. It's just the amount of availability of the data that you can start running your models on, right? So yes, there is a decent amount of structure that is, I think the data structure has always been there. I mean, people are trying to put things together now with your common data environments, everything that we are promoting. There is data where it's getting accumulated in the right place. So I don't think that's the problem. It's just the amount of data that you need to start running your models so that your models become much more predictive, and they get to the accuracy level, which is very, very high. Because see, I don't want to start drafting something or I'm trying to build something or I'm trying to model something, and the starting point of that model, even though it's at 60%, it's 40% wrong, right? I mean, that's not what you want to do, right? I start building or start modeling things, and the model that is generating should be there, so I can just build on that. It can't be wrong, because I think Mr. The other Mr. Yadav will agree, Mr. Nayak will also agree. If there is a GFC drawing, and if there's something wrong with the drawing, uh, they're not going to construct the right thing. It's just bad. You can't have a 12-inch rebar and a 10-inch rebar. You can't do that, right? It's extremely important for you to send the right IFC, right? The issue for construction drawings or GFC drawings, the LOD 350s that we are talking, they just have to be accurate. You can't send them wrong. You can't have a bridge collapse because of a wrong thing, right? So those things have to be really accurate. So again, when you start modeling or when you start extracting things, the starting point needs to be really, really solid, right? And that's where we need to make sure that when we talk of AI, Gen AI, the Gen stuff that we are talking, we need lesser reviews and more accurate stuff.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Well, this is one announcement for all our attendees. I think Mr. Yadav has been called upon another meeting at 4. I have a few questions for Mr. Yadav, but in case you also want to ask him something, you can put it in the Q&A, and I'll probably ask that first, before he leaves. Mr. Yadav, my question to you, actually, I have two questions. One, of course, is, you are in I would say, an interesting position where you represented an employer at some point in time, and now, you are collaborating with the contractor community. So you understand the pain points of, both the set of stakeholders. I just want to understand that, as Mr. Satish was also saying, that sometimes there's a level of hesitance. You have the next level of technology available, but that's not being adopted. If you could just tell us from both these aspects, what does the government agencies or the high level committees at employers think about how they look at technology per se? And of course, you've anyway told us that from a contractor's perspective, what kind of issues are there? Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Akansha. I'm sorry that I have to leave at 4 o'clock. I have another meeting. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity. So I'll just cover both the aspects, government side and private sector side. As far as private sector side is concerned, I fully agree with Mr. Nayak that if a private company wants to deploy anything which is costing something, means if he has to incur some cost, so basically the private sector company will see that what benefit they can get out of it. And as far as employers perspective, the government, I have been working with the government. The issue is that, again, what Mr. Nayak mentioned, that very right, that government formulates a policy, and then people who are working in the government, they are not aware about the system at all, how to implement into things like that. Having said that, I just want to say that things are changing both sides. Even in the government side, I'll give you the example. I was chairman of a dedicated freight corridor corporation of India Limited, and I was chairman railway board 2019-20. And this DFC project was lingering on since many years, 10 years. So that was the time we started using all these advanced technologies, where we started using AI and IoT, that we were getting pictures directly from the site, and we were able to monitor at the highest level. And I'll just tell you that, how these mega projects can be expedited if these are monitored using the technology. And I just want to mention that we wanted to implement that DFC project. We wanted to expedite. Tata Project and L&T, they were the contractor. And they may be knowing, there was a time when Mr. Piyush Goyal, minister, he used to take weekly meeting. Every week, Monday, time was fixed. And every week he used to monitor all these things, and we used to get all these data directly through sensors and things like that. The point which I'm trying to say that, there has been challenges, but from both sides, government side and the private sector side, lot of changes are taking place. Even if you see take the case of Indian Railway, we are having, 65,000 kilometer of track. Now maintenance is the problem. Now for last 5 years, railway has started using all these IoT and AI, we have put the sensors at all the important installations, and we are getting feed, and we are using AI, and lot of if you say the safety aspect of railway and the maintenance has improved a lot. The point which I have just summarized, that yes, there is a problem from both sides, but from the government side, yes, things are changing. We need to do the skilling. We need to do the the government employees, government officers. They need to be skilled. They need to be told about the importance. And private sector side, yes, they will deploy BIM if they are able to get advantage of it. And I can say, based on my experience, if you deploy BIM in any project, certainly you are going to get advantage in completion time of the project and the cost of the project. Thank you. Any other
And Mr.
question?
Yadav, yes, I just have one more question. We have speakers from Autodesk here. You've spoken about how things are now changing. Kind of we are accelerating more on the digital front. Do you have any specific, let's say, suggestions, recommendations? What are your expectations from technology providers, if I can ask you?
No, the technology provider basically you have to, whatever technology Autodesk or whoever is developing, you have to really interact with the government people, and maybe you can skill people, maybe free of cost for the time being. If you are having any technology, any software, at least you should be able to tell the government people that this is the software, this is the advantage, and maybe you can come forward and help government improving skill, maybe out of free of cost, and then when they will understand the importance of all these things, they will be able to use it.
Right. Mr. Yadav, we do have about a couple of more minutes with you. I'm
Yeah.
going to move to Mr. Kamath first. And Mr. Kamath, I had some questions for you myself, but I'm going to hold on to them. Maybe, if you have any questions for Mr. Yadav, and you've, of course, heard him out as to what his expectation is from you. So if you have any response
Yes,
to that.
absolutely, Mr. Arif. Great hearing you. Actually, it was great to learn that you mentioned the construction is actually adopting more. And the second one, it's a great feedback that I have taken to talk to government and understand the technology that is required and the technology that we have to offer. And from the Autodesk side, we have actually now from this year dedicatedly government sectors been specifically a team been provided which interacts with government to understand, provide trainings as well as solution offerings for that. Definitely that feedback is taken and will do. I'm really glad that we had this conversation, and you mentioned about IoTs and monitoring systems. That was really great understanding about you. And I really feel like we can work closely with government and be a part of major projects. And as the government does major projects, we also grow our technology both in AI as well as in the professional side of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can again mention that now the government is willing to deploy the latest technology,
Yes.
and only thing we need to have continuous dialogue and interaction between technology providers and the appropriate government authorities.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Yadav, thank you very much for joining us. In case we have some other specific questions come up for you during the next half an hour, I think my team will write to you, and we'll
Okay.
see if you,
Thank you
give
so
your
much. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I'm leaving in between, but I have another meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Yadav.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yadav. I'm going to now come to, Mr. Nayak and Mr. Satish again. I think we've delve on how BIM can kind of transform the construction phase. I also wanted to understand, what is happening on the brownfield assets. I mean, are you looking at BIM being employed at the brownfield level as well? Maybe Mr. Nayak can take that first, and then I'm going to go to Mr. Satish asking the same thing.
Yes, brownfield is still more challenging than greenfield. So brownfield, that existing resources, existing set of inventory has to be properly captured before you integrate with the BIM. Yes, there are partially it is done to the extent that the existing utilities are being surveyed by various 3D laser and other techniques that you have, and then create a particular model is kind of a generative model which has developed based on those input, and then further integrating that with the BIM for your uses. I don't have any reference of a large-scale usage of such kind of usage. The last information I had about the Bridge Candy Hospital, which was Bridge Candy Hospital in Mumbai, which was renovated to the next level. So there's the last example I had, but I don't see any major such kind of a brownfield project where being used. There must be some many projects that people must be using it, and yeah, but it's doable. We can do it with a lot of lidar and a lot of 3D laser system that you have. It's quite possible. So
Thank you, Mr. And Mr. Satish. Pretty much the same question. You've even worked on projects in Doha. Maybe if you have some examples there.
No, I have not come across, the biggest, when you take I will be specific about metro construction, let's say for underground metro constructions, if you have a timeline of, let's say, the real construction to be 5 years more or less for any underground metro projects. First 2 years are generally dealt with utility and utility related issues where all the pain points are there. I don't think even in Doha there was no such mandate to map the utilities and make a BIM model of existing, let's say, municipalities' assets into BIM model. It's one of the area how it can be used with, if there is some technology with IoT or anything, if it can, because biggest pain point in construction industry are the claims which are coming or overruns which are coming particularly to contractor, and then they claim from employer, and there are always disputes, are time taken for removal of these utilities and unknown utilities which were not ever shown in drawing or were not visible in drawings earlier coming into picture. So brownfield projects, I have not come across, sorry, maybe my this thing is limited. If it is done, it will be a great, for anything, even sometime contractors, I've worked mostly 20-25 years as a contractor. Sometimes we divert our utility and we then later on hit it again while constructing. So that's the kind of industry we are in. If we can map it, place it properly, it will be great help somehow, but not known for so much of, let's say, massive mandate being taken by somebody at the moment.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Satish. I'm going to get Mr. Kamath in at this level. And, he, of course, can get many, many more clients if brownfield projects also start looking at, deployment of BIM. But, Mr. Kamath, your view in terms of what kind of benefits a technology like BIM can bring for, brownfield projects?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mr. Naik said, right, it is little difficult to do and it's quite tedious to do because there is something that is built, something like Mr. Satish said, underground utilities. How do we capture that? Do we have to dig everything out, measure it?
Right.
Because to design something, we need to have that with us, right? The as-built. If we have to upgrade something, we need to know what exactly we are doing. And this is the question that Autodesk is constantly getting, like how technology can help. And in fact, we were able to start working very early, like with different tools that we have. And we started supporting scanning, both GPR, ground penetrating, as well as the LiDAR scanners, right? And we've seen how our tools can do. And now, probably Nandita also showed in the early presentation, we are trying to bring out some automations to that, like how scans can be converted, right? It's we call it like right now AI at this moment, not that AI, but at least a tool that can understand what scannings are getting captured, right? So say for example, we get an option, we got a project to widen a road of a specific street or redo the underground utilities. Can we scan and get a model out from here? So far we have been doing is manually measuring it, and somebody's like a consultant or somebody spending about a month of time creating that as-built model for the others to start building on top of it. Now what we want from the technology side of it, based on the feedback that we got, like can we have a technology that it can scan the existing thing, convert the scan into a model? And this was a really big challenge for our entire team to provide a solution. And glad this year from our recap solutions that Nandita showed, we can actually convert our scans to a 3D model and an intelligent model, not just a mesh model, but an intelligent model. Say if I scan a road, I can actually get the lane detail, footpath, and other things automatically done. If you have street furnitures like signage is automatically converted into a 3D model out from here. Railway tracks, like we can actually digitize the whole scan for that. And we have a Genio success story published in our page, which also is on the YouTube, which talks about the entire street in France, which France or Europe somewhere, we are actually scan the entire underground utility to refurbish that area. So this is where we are seeing, and if you see, this is where we see a technology can use a little bit of AI to generate a model from scans where we we define what these scans are and tools helps us to do. And this is going to really bring down the as-built construction model for our future designs, and with that models we can actually use to design it.
Mr. Kamath, just one more question. And I'm sure that everybody realizes the benefits that BIM brings with it, innovation and efficiency in operations. I think nowadays the industry is also very aware of sustainability. There are some preset sustainability goals.
Right.
What is your offering or, your thought process around bringing this innovation, efficiency, sustainability together and helping your clients?
Yeah. You would have heard almost everyone talks about sustainability now, and it's from the government side also, it is kind of a key factor on designing any kind of projects. We consider the sustainability part of it. If you see so far, like you would have heard, like buildings have the building designs have adopted BIM quite fast, right? And now we are seeing infrastructure also adopting BIM and technology. And this sustainability was quite often used by building designers to design a building which is better performing. But now we are also seeing sustainability can, tools and technologies can be used for infrastructure. And if you see, being such a large project, sustainability plays a very important role because the impact is really huge when we talk about large infrastructure project. Now, considering doing a large railway, roads, bridges, tunnel, where tools can actually optimize your site feasibilities, understanding how best cut and fills can be used, the climatic, like the energy consumptions of large infrastructure projects like railway stations, airports that we are talking about. How do we optimize that building in terms of materials and other things so that the energy consumptions of the buildings are optimized, say based on the locations and area in which it is designing. Now these aspects, like if a tool can give you, like if this project is designed in this and this way, what's the energy consumption? And if the tools provide you an option, if you change these parameters, it is going to optimize that. That plays a very, like, that gives you an ability to optimize your design. So these are something that I feel it is really, these are the tools that will really help.
Mr. Kamath, I think, uh, got. Mr. Kamath, can you hear us?
Can I take it forward what Mr. Kamath was saying?
Yes, Mr. Nayak,
Yeah.
please.
So I think
Thank you.
Mr.
Sorry.
Kamath was a little loud. I mean, I wanted to add something to supplement to what Mr. Kamath was saying. In many of the building projects, particularly when you use it Revit and designing, it has got a inbuilt capability of calculating the HVAC load within the building, the AC load in the building, and that all depends on how the sun rises from east to west, which azimuth it is there. It basically calculates the energy consumption in terms of the light requirement inside, based on the sunlight that comes into this thing. So all the things can be modeled, and probably the orientations could be rightly set so that you have got the less energy consumption in terms of HVAC requirement, light requirements. So maybe it's one of this area which
Yeah.
is being done by Revit. So probably this is one of the added tool. Right. Continue.
Sorry, I might have got disconnected. And on an infrastructure side point of it, like your water solutions, like understanding watershed analysis, flood analysis, right? How the water is going to behave if a certain rainstorm happens, where it is going to flow through. Is there a chance of flooding on certain areas, low-lying areas? Getting that idea well in advance through this will really going to help to have a better, smarter, and a better designs for infrastructure projects.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Kamath. Well, I see a lot of questions in the Q&A chat. I will just take them. Some of them have been directed to the speaker that, the audience would want to ask this question to. Some others are not. So I'll, of course, read those questions aloud. I may, from my judgment, ask somebody to respond to it, but please feel free in case you have, some things to supplement that thing. Maybe, we'll first take the question for Mr. Satish. So this is a question from Mr. Preetham Deshmukh. He is saying that given your expertise in metro projects, he would appreciate if you can give some insights on how best to draft tender and implement 4D 5D. And additionally, if you can also talk about what are the most effective ways to approach and engage different government bodies for facilitating BIM adoption and compliance.
Well, what I understand, 4D, if it is it's related with time management for this. Generally, when we draft a tender for the metro kind, because it's one of the most structured industry in a sense with the tendering and other thing, we do have requirements. In fact, special annexure is there for appendix is there for time management, how it will be done, because you might most of the people will be aware that most of the large mega infrastructure projects goes generally, if time is changing, it's coming with huge cost to the contractor and claims from the contractor, and the process gets disrupted of the trust between two parties quite a lot. So it has to be very clear, and there is always a very, very specific requirements, which is right now, because most of the metro tenders are FIDIC based. In FIDIC, the requirement is purely on extension of time. However, there is a word called program. Now, program in general in India as of now, or metro industry in specific, not just India, even Dubai, if we take Middle East also, program is managed mostly by a software called Primavera in general, and the features of Primavera are drafted into the requirements, employees' requirement, which have to be taken care during the currency or project duration. So currently, I would say most of the things are specific to program management by Primavera with its features and how it is done. Now, BIM 4D, if they come up with something which is credible, they will have to demonstrate mostly to the government agencies and to the engineers who are drafting these contracts, how it can be managed. 4D is should not be just showing that at what stage of the project, what date of the project, where the project will be. It has to then comprehensively manage going forward. If there is a delay from what the baseline was, how it has to be, brought back, and other things, features have to be there, because that is all program management. So employer can only put up requirements which are finally going to put the program back to track, and what are the tools to do that. So BIM 4D, if they are able to demonstrate that they can do these kind of things, they can be utilized not just for producing the early part, but during the project construction stage, every month it can be used also. Updated programs can be uploaded into that. It has to, if it is a collaborative tool with the Primavera, it can help making this to be more faster, this updated programs, or detecting delays or delay analysis. They will have to tell to the policymakers, where in this case are mostly the implementing agencies and the engineers, and probably that way it can be, if the impact is demonstrated, it can be taken care.
Right. Mr. Satish, there's another question which I've actually got on my personal chat. Somebody is asking that you've spoken about Primavera implementation for project control. What is the real bottleneck there? Is it the design change or the change of activity sequence or weightage issues?
Primavera, when you the major projects like metro will have activities to the level of 40,000, 50,000, and once at the tender stage, or let's say initial baseline stage, when you will add all interfacing contractors activities also with it, the program becomes very big if the sequencing and logics are not correct. So any delay happens, there is always a problem that its perspective, if it is from the contractor's perspective, they will try to show that that delay has impacted him to that extent that he should be given extension of time much beyond that delay. And the employer's perspective always remains, they ask that delay to be cut short at the cost and risk of the contractor. So the problem happens, the good program, it should have a proper logics, right level of, let's say, sequencing, right level of activity bifurcation, WBSs, but not just there. Most of the time you just make a sort of a baseline program and forget about it. It has to be monthly updated with actual progress and to show with that progress what is the impact. And then there has to be some tools, like in Qatar, I was there for 54 months and we had produced 54 monthly programs, not just like a baseline program. So whatever was actual progress, we were then capturing progress and bringing it back. So changing sequence also.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Satish. I'm going to come to Mr. Nayak now. And Mr. Nayak, there's a question from Mr. Prashant Hire, who's asking what specific challenges are being encountered during the BIM adoption at the site level. I mean, from L&T's perspective, what kind of challenges have you encountered at the site level, and what implementation strategies have proven most effective in overcoming these barriers? Mr. Nayak, you're on mute. If you can just unmute yourself, please.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we see, what do we exactly meaning of site execution? Like, am I using the BIM at site for execution? Yes, that is my, something that futuristic. I want to see that I don't have any drawings. I do only the 3D model, which is basically comes to be as a AR or VR, and I go at site for the execution, right? So this is my wish list. I should be able to do it. And few of the project, yes, people are do those things so they can visualize when they go to the construction site, particularly building works. They go to site and then see the visualization is done, and then they implement that way. Other than that, at site level for the project execution, I really don't see that how the BIM is being implemented currently at execution level. If I can extract, see, there are certain extraction of data is required from the BIM model to make it a 2D drawing and implement it. Yes, that is being done, and the challenges which you basically face is the skill set of people, and the kind of planning that we do. Like in other countries, like for outside India or maybe very developed countries, they do the planning first for say a year or so before they actually hit onto the ground. Okay, so here we don't get that time period to do the planning for any project, so it's a very limited time. In that period, first of all, we have to complete the design, then the construction sequencing, then Primavera, then we integrate it with a B model, then you are ready to start. But here we do it at the beginning, day zero, my construction should start. Within the LOI, we are in a hurry to implement the project. So in the process, we do compromise all these 4 steps that should have been followed, and then you hit the ground. So I know certain projects which are might be very smaller project compared to the large scale projects which we do in India, but the planning period of that thing is quite good, which is given, so that they do due respect to the time duration for the design, for planning, sequencing, planning. So one of the problem that we get into is the 4D and 5D. Is the 4D is never ahead of the construction. 4D either goes parallel or falls behind. So we basically are updating the models for 4D, what is happening at site, rather than going by the sequence. Because in our kind of business, that change in the construction sequence is everyday business. And to update the Primavera for that changes, looking at the impact and then rectifying it and this thing, currently you don't have that much of you know time available for any project execution. So if at a project execution we have got enough time to plan all those things, definitely we will be able to take maximum care of this thing. The project sequencing is done, what is planned, the Primavera is operated properly, beam is, so then you get the real benefit out of beam. So like garbage in, garbage out. So that's what it is. Like you plan it properly, yes, you get the benefit out of it.
Right. Mr. Naik, there's also one question, maybe we can answer that very briefly. It says that did L&T use BIM for Statue of Unity when you looked
Uh,
at that?
yes, I'll tell you for the Statue of Unity, there are not only BIM, there are many other technology which are used, particularly the scanning of the statue. So what is done basically is that a prototype is made first, and it has
Right.
been 3D laser scanned the complete things, and then it was magnified to the size of uh, the actual size of the statue. It was magnified to that size, and then those pieces are basically fed into the parts are made. Those are fed into CNC machine to cut those high strength thermocols, high density
Mhm.
thermocols to get the shape out of it. So to that
Right.
extent, BIM is used for the other parts of it, like those buildings, those are at exhibition centers has been used. For the statue, this is what used. BIM was used. Apart from that, this 3D scanning was used to produce those pieces of the statue.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Naik. I'm going to go to Ms. Nandita now. And this question has been sitting. It actually came for you while the presentation was on. This is about, I think a brief answer would be fine. It says, is there support for Indian rail and road standards in the country kit? I think they are mentioning to
Yes, yes.
Autodesk.
Definitely, there are standards available both for Indian roads as well as rails. And I've answered those questions as well. If you could see, like, a drop you can then which they can refer and come back to us. We do have support in that domain. We can take it offline, like, with the person who have asked. They can connect with Autodesk and we can come and do sort of have an in-person discussion and see exactly what you're looking at, so that then we can fine tune and answer accordingly. So I've already provided some answers in that session.
Right. Yeah, that I saw. Thank you. I think Mr. Kamath had also responded to some, and even Mr. Kumar. There was this one question for Mr. Kamath, but I think Mr. Pavan Kumar was generous enough to, give his inputs there as well. Mr. Kumar, I'm going to come to you now, and there is this question around if you could explain the common design environment in view of invoicing, showcasing a brief example for how it can be, benefiting to the industry. Would you want to take that up?
Yeah, sure. So when you look at CDE, right, the way you define CDE is basically what we call a common data environment. Now, what a common data environment basically stands for is about taking data from disparate sources, putting it in one common place, and that data being accessible to everybody on a rule-based kind of an access, right? So,
Right.
for example, if I have certain drawings, that I want my MEP people to see, and there are certain drawings which I want my CSA people to see, the civil people to see. I should be able to do it. There are some schedules which I want X person to see and Y person not to see. That is also so. All this data that we are talking about, whether it is financial data, engineering data, construction data, any other legacy data spreadsheets that you would want to share, everything is just put across in the common environment at this point of time for people to go ahead and access based on a role-based, access in terms of what they want to see. And this is what it basically stands for. Now, earlier, as Nandita was probably explaining, right, exchanges through emails, exchanges through different kind of transmittals, sometimes WhatsApp messages and everything. In fact, on one of the project that we are doing, which is completely on BIM, we have eliminated emails completely. There's no more emailing documents. Everything is done on the common data environment. Notifications, everything comes. So, I mean, as a leader, I've said if I see an email on any of these, I'm going to delete it directly. I will say that it has not come to me. So everything, revisions, everything is still maintained on that particular environment. Everybody has access to the same, and everybody is looking at the same data, right? That is what's most important. and which is what is really helping out your cost overruns and design overruns, making sure that everybody is looking at the same data, everybody's at least trying to work on the same data, whether it's the revisions, whether it is the versions of the documents. So that's what
And
common
right. So, Mr. Kumar, this question, of course, is a little uh, divergent to the technology and everything. Mr. Yadav and I think even Mr. Nayak during the discussion did say that there are some sort of policy impetus, standardization. People are talking about standardization. They would want to do that. As TC, I'm sure you are collaborating with
absolutely.
every stakeholder. Can you let us know what is the current status in terms of, we know that it's mandatory for certain set of infrastructure encompassing certain value, project value, etc. What is basically happening at, what's the thought process at the high level?
The thought process is very similar, Akasha, just you just mentioned. We want to get to these common standards. If you go to UK at this point of time, it's very, very well defined in terms of how
Yeah.
things are there. We would want to get there, and I think as I think Mr. Naik mentioned and Mr. Yadav also mentioned before he left the call, I think it just needs to be a very common effort between the academia, the government and the industry from our side as well, coming together. And we would definitely want to partner with organizations like you as well, and then have this collective intelligence and collective thought process of putting things together for the overall good, right? So I mean, we are working, I think, in probably silos at this point of time. I think we just need a forum where we can get together, all of us, and then start working. In fact, with the Ranjan's team, we're working on a larger white paper from a water perspective. Snehal, all the other people are involved in it. And so, we're working very closely with them to put some things together. And obviously, we need help from the academia as well. People like the premier institutes like the IITs, the IIScs, coming together, putting things together. Obviously, and I think Mr. Naik mentioned, we need to skill people. I mean, just putting standards together and all those things is great. But people who are coming out of college or even probably diploma right after maybe the 5 years, they need to be aware of these standards. It's not that we put standards and we have to teach them all over again 6 months, 8 months when they're in our institutions, right? So I think we just need to put all these things together. We are working with the government. We are trying to put a lot of things together and how things are, and once it comes, we'll start working together. But it's in process. I think we'll just.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I'm going to move to Mr. Kamath. And Mr. Kamath, you get to have the last word, right? One very quick question which I've got on my personal chat. Somebody is asking if you can just give us the name of any tunnel project where Autodesk's BIM is being utilized. I think they're wanting to understand if tunnel projects are looking at BIM deployments. Would you have that handy?
I actually shared infra projects on our chat. The
Right.
tunnel I don't
Oh, you
have
have done
any.
that already.
Yes, Nandita,
Okay.
you have any?
We have Atal Tunnel as one example,
You have a
where,
story?
yes,
Uh,
we have a story. I'll share it with, I'll share it with her. Yes, we
Yeah, and
have
I
some
think
work done
we
over
can
there.
probably share it across with all the attendees that are there. Mr. Kamath,
Definitely.
the last round that I basically wanted was that, we have industry veterans here who have, been very instrumental in shaping this journey overall for the sector. So, if you have any comments for them, feedback for them, any kind of convincing for them where, they could look at more solution deployment. But the last word is with you, and if you could just share your uh,
Before, sorry, I'm interfering in between before Mr. Kamath says something. What do we
right,
want?
Mr.
What
Yeah.
the industry wants from a giant like Autodesk, and what next level of things they can think of? Like we have got very limited vision for one project, one sector, one this thing. So, but they have got a vision worldwide. They have got vision for the entire sector of the entire construction sector. So they have got a bigger vision. So limited to my work, what I should have, like if I am having Autodesk is a platform for me to do a something that which is inbuilt with for the actual use of the BIM. I should be able to use, I should be able to uh, open only one interface. I don't have to have many interfaces. They have Civil 3D, they have Revit, they have got InfraWorks, they have got many for info drainage, and a lot of many things are there. I want to have single interface. So where I can visualize, I can design, I can optimize, I can quantify, I can schedule it, and I can do completely everything, including the design. I should be able to do it in one platform. Okay, and also definitely they have the CDE, and then that is what it goes to CDE, so that all the collaboration can happen. So all these bits and pieces are there for Autodesk. They have, and all I need, I probably it doesn't require intelligence to say to Autodesk that how best they can do. But this is what our wish list, industry wish list, is that Autodesk would come out with a single interface for all the things. We face a lot of challenges in terms of I do drainage design in something, I do the road design in something, then the interface issues, data lost, the format lost, and then how to cope up with this thing. So industry faces a lot of challenges in terms of that. So if you have got a single interface where all the collaboration can happen online at one platform, that's what is my wish list. This is one. Second wish list like to have is that yes, you are the leader in terms of beam implementation in the country, but this country requires a beam mission. We don't have beam mission. Like there is no beam policy in this country. Like we have for Singapore, UK, EU, everybody has got a beam mission.
Right.
So please, we can have together, a forum and go to the ministry or go to the government and say that yes, we want to draft a big mission for us. The country should have a big mission. Like, see, the reason for why it is happening, most of people do not know, is that they do not know the format. They do not know the what CD they should be having, what format they should work. There's absolutely, there's absolutely open on this thing. So if you have a mission, and kind of things, the industry is ready to come forward. Academicians can definitely be pulled into this, and maybe Indian infrastructure and those kind of agencies can really take forward these things, and Autodesk also will put forward all those viewpoints. We can have a mission on the country. This is what a big mission will have. Unfortunately, uh, I mean, this is mission. Beam mission is little for even the country doesn't have a construction policy itself. So getting a beam policy will be little more complex things, but still, we can do with the ministry at least we can draft some kind of a beam policy and implement it. Then only the things will be actually driving down to the ground and people start using it. Sorry,
Absolutely.
come up.
Totally agree, sir. That's a great feedback and feedback taken. And let me assure there are some works happening in that as well. So having a policy or standardization definitely will have impact on getting people to adopt to technology and the new. And the one thing that you really touched right on the nerves is the interoperability. I see the challenge and like using different platforms. And during the session, there was also a discussion of like fragmented workflows, right? People are using individual tools and how do we link? And you brought correctly, like how do we have this, not multiple frame, like bring it together in one interface. And that's some exactly like I would say I was about to tell in my last discussion, right? This is where we are no more actually looking at BIM adoption, BIM implementation. Now I see with my experience with all the interaction that I'm doing with many companies like yours, I'm seeing people are talking about digital transformation, not just BIM. So BIM is just a part of that whole digital transformation journey. And this is like a, I would say, digital project delivery process where from initial up to this. And in that we bound to use different tools, probably Autodesk or maybe outside of Autodesk. But what Autodesk is trying to do is we are designing our platform in a granular way. That means we are creating a platform services. That means the tools can share information not only within Autodesk, but also an ability to share data outside of Autodesk. We do understand to do a large projects, you may use non-Autodesk product also, but our customer should not face that challenge. And that's our vision, where you would have heard in our Autodesk University that we are saying about like how granular data exchange and data extraction. We are all trying to play with the data, improve data exchange rate so that it's not just a limitation of using multiple tools. It's about like your ability to share data across the project wherever we use. Well feedback taken, sir. And definitely this is something that Autodesk have planned on data extractions and utilization, which you see on the Autodesk University side.
Right. And I would just like to say one thing. This is, I think, more of a submission from Mr. Deshmukh, Mr. Preetham Deshmukh. He's saying that Dubai actually has their own BIM model approval website, and the country can be motivated to actually come up with something similar. And I think Mr. Nayak was, of course, being optimistic about, at some point in
Well,
time the
we
country.
do have, like for Mumbai, the BMC, the Bombay Municipal Corporation. If you want to apply, if you want to get your development plan passed, you need to make the drawing and upload in the system. The system
Okay.
decides what are the flaws on this. So, like
Right.
somebody referred to Dubai, Mumbai Municipal Corporation has got that platform. So where you upload based on the flaws, they'll say these are the problems. You set it right and then come back. So that kind of interest does happen in Mumbai, India also. Yeah, we have.
Right. Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm just going to go to Mr. Satish and Mr. Pavan Kumar for a very, very brief remark in terms of, if you have something for Mr. Kamath, Mr. Nayak, of course, have given his feedback, but, from a technology point of view, if you also have something to share with him.
No, I think I'll just second what Mr. Nayak had put in. He has summarized well for everyone and leave it to Pawan to add something. Yeah.
Mr. Kumar, please.
Sure. No, so Niranjan, let's start working on some of your Gen AI designs and
Yes.
let's see how it can actually benefit us in terms of generating some of these models or even whatever the layouts, etc., which will be a good starting point for us to start working on. Uh, and yes, I mean it's just not about placing a few things here or there, but
Yeah.
just making it more usable when it comes to the starting point of getting things done. So that'll be great.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Well, with that, we are going to bring this discussion to a close. We are about 6 minutes overboard from the scheduled time, but I think the session was very interactive, very insightful. That kind of picks up, for extending it by a few minutes. Very grateful to Mr. Satish, Mr. Nayak, Mr. Kumar, Mr. Kamath, and Ms. Nandita for your time. Thanks a lot for joining us. And a big thank you to all the attendees also for their time and for making this discussion very, very interactive. I do look forward to meet most of you in person at some of our other events and conferences. Till then, thank you very much for joining us and have a very good day.